Hi guys, my name is Nico and today I'm going to guide you through the deployment process of NetLock RMM with Docker Compose using our Docker Compose deployment script. Going straight to the requirements, we need the Linux distribution. In our case it's Ubuntu, then a domain for the Let's Encrypt certificate and an SSH client, in our case it's MobileXterm, and you need to make sure that the domain is going to be resolved back to the public domain. Means if you're on the machine, the target machine, and where you're going to install or deploy NetLock RMM, if you try to resolve the domain from that machine, it needs to resolve back to that external domain and not to something local like localhost. Then for hardware, we need at least 2 cores, depending of course on your CPU strength, and we need at least 4 gigabytes of free RAM. That's because the agent packages are going to be loaded into the RAM for an easier and quicker deployment. Going straight to the documentation, we need to go to server installation Docker. Then we scroll down to quick setup. Then we need to download the script. Just copy the comment, go to your SSH client, paste it in, download the script. Then you need to make it executable. And now we need to execute it. Now we're going to confirm that the requirements are there. Then we need to choose a time zone. In our case, it's Europe, Berlin. Then we need to enter the domain we are going to use for the RMM installation. That could be demo. In our case, it's demo1, then netlockrmm.com. That's the same domain that is going to be used for Let's Encrypt. Then we need to enter the port for the web console. We leave it as default for the HTTP port. And the same for the HTTPS port. And the same for the backend port from the NetLock backend. That's the backend where the agents communicate with. Then we need to provide a MySQL root password. I'm going to just use a simple one in this case. Then our mail address for Let's Encrypt. Then again a password for the Let's Encrypt certificate file, and this is going to be a simple password in this case. And now everything has been created and it asks you if you want to start NetLock now. We confirm that. That's it, NetLock is started now. You maybe need to wait a little while until the web console pops up because of the Let's Encrypt certificate issuing. Make sure that your firewall is not blocking the port 80 and port 443, otherwise it will not be able to issue the certificate. Yeah, just going to wait. There we go. Now our credentials. If you take a look again on the script, it tells us the default credentials for the web console is admin. And what you're going to do now, if you take a look on the last message, it asks us to set the members portal API key, and that's what you're going to do now before we continue. Going to login. I'm going to set a new password. It asks you for that. After you've done that, you need to log in with the new password. Then you go, yeah, perfect. You need to read this message. That would be nice. Then you're going to hide it, and then you go to settings and then system. Then you scroll down, and there you find the members portal API key. To obtain the members portal API key, you need to register on the members portal. Once you've logged in, you can go to memberships, and there you have an open source membership. Then you can just click on setup now. Of course, maybe take a moment and read this message. It will really help this product and this project to continue. Then you go on I've read and continue, and then you accept the terms of service. And then you can see your membership, open source membership has been set up. Then you copy the API key, go back to the member spot, to the web console, paste the API key in, click on save. There we can see now it has been set up, and what you're going to do now is going back to our SSH client, and now we confirm that we've set that up. What's happening now is that the containers are going to be restarted. That's required for the server's backend to get the agent packages and load them into the memory. So we can see that the CPU usage is now also really high. And now we need to wait a moment. Maybe it could take around 5 minutes depending on your bandwidth. What you can do in the meantime is we can check the logs of the backend so that it's working. what you're going to do is type docker ps, then we're going to want to have the container ID of the server backend. We copy that, then docker logs and container ID. And what you can see now is that the license was invalid because there was no license, it's just requesting it now, and it states that it's requesting the packages. So we need to wait a little. Now we can see it already start downloading the packages. And this can take a small moment. Just going to check that again. And now what you can see is it's loaded the packages, and we can see that the packages are currently being loaded into the memory. That takes a little. And once that's done, we can go back to the web console and check its status. Yeah, there we go, the server started. So what we're going to do now is we need to open up the web console again, but in a new browser tab, because we restarted the backend, it will otherwise kick us out. So we're going to provide the credentials again. Then we go back to settings, then system, and now we should see that the backend is connected. Yeah, there we go, it is connected. We can see that we have a PTM record mismatch detected message here. In our case, it's not really important, but if the connection fails, you need to really make sure, as I mentioned earlier, that the machine that you installed or deployed NetLock to is able to resolve that domain, and it actually resolves back to an external domain. In our case, normally it should resolve back to the exact same domain. In our case, it's resolving to this domain here, but it's also fine because it's also externally reachable. Yeah, that's very important. Now what we can do is, yeah, that's basically it, but I'm going to show you now how to create a tenant and install your first agent. So I'm going to go to tenants, then manage, and then add tenant, just test in this case. Then we are entering the tenant, then we need to add a location, then test, calling it. Then now what we're going to do is we're going to create an install package. What you're going to do is going to the agent download, then download installer, create a new configuration. I'm calling it test the same. Then we need to provide the server domain. And in our case, it's demo1netlockrmm.com, and we need to provide the backend part. If you have left it to default, it will be 7443. And we need to paste that in for all the server roles. Then the tenant is test and the location is test. Then we save it. Then we need to choose the architecture we want to install NetLock on. In our case, it's WinX64. I'm going to download the installer now. This takes a small moment. Now my Firefox is giving me a message that it blocked the pop-up. I'm going to allow that. And now I'm going to try it again. So now it's downloading the installer. Then we need to move the installer file to the target machine. I'm just copying it to my test machine here. Then we extract it. Now we just need to execute the installer as administrator. This will take a little moment. As you can see, it's now downloading the required packages to the machine. And continuing with the installation process. So that's basically it. The installation has been finished. Now if you're going to close the machine, going back to our download installer page and then through devices unauthorized, we can already see the device here. Just need to checkmark it, then authorize it, and then we can see it under authorized. Then we click on it. And now it takes a little moment until all the information has been arrived from the machine, but that's it. Now you can use all the features. That's it for the installation process. If you encounter any problems, you can of course join our Discord and for community troubleshooting and support, or what we also do is we offer paid memberships that not just include code signed executables, but we also support you if you have any problems. That means we also set up your server remotely, we troubleshoot it, and we upgrade your instances. And of course, if you have any other technical questions, problems, whatever, we are there to help you. So maybe consider supporting our project by acquiring a membership. That will really help us in the future. And yeah, happy monitoring.